friend, if you've been wondering, when should I wash my starter locks? It's getting a little itchy up in the scalp, then you're in the right place. If you've had your locks for 1 month or 6 months and you're wondering how to know when to wash your starter locks, how to wash your starter locks without them unraveling, and how to wash your starter locks properly, then keep watching this video because I'm going to talk about all of those things. If you're new here, hello, my name is Lauren and I like to talk about lock maintenance and with an emphasis on semi-freeform locks. Today's video, mind you, I'm not a loctician. This is just my honest information after 5 years of having my locks. So if you're into content like that, then feel free to subscribe to this. Okay, the thing we want to know for real is when to wash your starter locks. And I guess there is no rule of thumb to this. There is hearsay and there are rumors about when it's good to wash your starter locks, like wash your locks after 3 months, or just rinse your locks within the first 6 months and then wash it once it starts to mature a little bit. All the way from there to you can wash your locks as far as 1 month into your lock journey. And the whole thing with me is, since you asked my opinion, since you're on my video, I feel like you should wash your locks when you need to wash your locks. If your maintenance routine is sacrificing the health of your hair, it's not worth it. We're all about the optimal health of your hair. And what's not healthy for your hair, just plain and simply, is waiting like 3 to 6 months to wash your hair. And one of the first things that this topic brings up is that dirty locks do not help your locks lock faster. And one of the first dilemmas that we face with washing our starter locks, and why so many people hear this hearsay that you should wait as long as you can possibly to wash your locks, is because if you do wash your locks earlier than you need to, then they might unravel, they might fall out, you might do something to mess up the locking process. And here's the thing, when you had loose natural hair and on your wash day, what's something that you need to do in order to keep your hair detangled? You got to detangle it, right? Because you know that if you washed your hair without detangling your hair afterwards and you just went to dry it, what's gonna happen? It's gonna get all tangled. So let's just think about what we already know about our hair, afro textured hair at least. If we wash it and then don't do anything, it's gonna tangle up, right? What's making that tangle up happen, that tangle up process happen? It's the combination of us, washing our hair and the new hair that grows in now kind of like has fallen out to make room for other new hair to grow in. And the water also helps our hair curl up, and that together makes our hair tangle. So now apply that to locks. Locks is just tangled up hair that we don't untangle. Honestly, truly. I don't think waiting to wash your hair is going to do any more good to the locking process, because actually the cleaner your hair is, the healthier your hair is. And we know from having natural hair that water actually helps the locking process because it helps the hair tangle up. So just apply that logic to washing your starter locks. This is something that I did, if this helps you. Throughout the first, I'd say 3 or 4 months of my lock journey, I washed my locks once a month. So I started my locks on November 14th, I believe, of the year 2021. On December 14th was the first time I had washed my locks. Now, did I have some unraveling? A little bit here and there. I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit because I personally have soft hair. If you have softer textured hair and you're worried about the unraveling, don't worry. I got you. And with my own experience, like yours might be different, but with my experience, washing my locks once a month was just enough time for me to allow my hair to lock up a little bit, but still have clean hair. You'd rather have clean hair that might compromise a little bit, the look of your starter locks, rather than having dirty hair that you're suffering with itchy scalp and possibly dry scalp and possibly also product buildup. Because the more product buildup you have, that doesn't help the locking process either. The first thing is wash your starter locks when you feel like you need to wash them. So I would honestly start with in between a month and a month and a half. A month and a half at max to wash your starter locks. If in between that month or month and a half period you start to get itchy scalp, dry scalp, or it's just starting to get irritated, then spritz your hair with some rose water with aloe, or you can just click the link in my description box to order some of the Free the Roots mist, the hydration mist that I use, that I've been using for over 4 years, that has both of those products in it to help soothe your scalp. And it's specifically made for that. And you can also use my discount code too and get a little percentage off. But yeah, honestly, I wouldn't go a month and a half max because I just don't think it's healthy for your scalp. Now, what if your locks start to unravel when you go to wash your hair? Whether you started your locks yourself with 2-strand twists, or did your finger coils, or you went to a loctician and the loctician said, hey, you're gonna come back and see me 3 months after I started these locks. So within those 3 months, don't wash your hair. I tell my loctician, look, you gonna itch the scalp for me or what? Sometimes your locks will unravel, especially if you did start with 2-strand twists. So here are your options. If you have the money to put up for it, right? You could go back to the loctician. If you have finger coils and some of your coils unraveled, you can go back to the loctician if you don't trust your own hands to put your locks back in place. Or you can go get your 2-strand twists done again. Or if you know how to twist yourself, you can twist your 2-strand twist your locks back together, your starter locks, or you could coil them yourself. I mean, there's plenty of tutorials here on YouTube. And I'm sure that, you know, in the long run, it doesn't make as much of a difference as we think it does. So honestly, I started my own locks with 2-strand twists, and let's say your locks do unravel and then you put them back yourself. Immediately after, you might notice a change or a little difference in between the lock that you did and the starter locks that your, loctician did. But over the 3-month period and over the 5-month period, and then once you get into 6-8 months and then into a year, you're probably not gonna notice that much of a difference in between what you did and what your loctician did. Because during the first couple of months of your lock journey, your locks change and they expand and they contract and they get shorter. So I really wouldn't worry about it that much if your locks unravel and you just decide, if it's like 1 or 2 locks, you just decide to put them back yourself. Now, if it's multiple locks that start to unravel, before they unravel, I think one way to prevent it is to again spritz your hair or your starter locks with water. Because like I said, water helps to lock your hair. Period. Because as you know, when you get your hair wet, your hair will start to tangle. Some people have even said that their loctician told them not to get their hair wet because it messes up your locks. Unless you're manipulating your locks or pulling on them or something that's going to make them unravel, spritzing your hair with water will only help the locking process along more. You might see some shrinkage and they might start to look a little bit different than when your loctician first put them in, but the whole point is for your hair to be trained to lock. So spritzing will only help, in my opinion. It will help to also keep them from unraveling because it could help the locking process more. Now, if more locks unravel and say you got like mini twists because you're getting micro locks or something, and you again have that money, I would go back to the loctician and get your mini twists installed again. Another way to prevent your locks from unraveling is using a stocking cap or like a skull cap on top of your head when you do go to wash your hair. And I do have a video on how to wash your starter locks. You can see the video in the card right here. But either using a stocking cap if your locks are really short, or if your locks are longer, then you can use the banding method and just put rubber bands along the length of your locks so that when you go to wash them, they're not too disturbed by the washing process that they unravel. So try to prevent unraveling on the front end rather than on the back end. But if they unravel, I promise you it's not gonna be as bad as you think it is in the long run. Let's talk about how to know when it's time to wash your starter locks, because different people's scalp needs a different frequency of washing. The frequency that you wash your starter locks may not be suitable for the frequency that I need to wash my starter locks, because we each have a different amount of natural oils that build up on the scalp, and different even moisturization routines, and different hair types and densities, and that can all make a huge difference. One way you can tell it's time to wash your hair is when you have an itchy scalp, itchy and oily scalp. If your scalp is dry, it may not be time to wash your hair. If it's dry and itchy, you just may need to bump up your oiling routine or your moisturization routine to your scalp a little bit more. Okay, but if it's oily and itchy, you know it's time to wash your hair, because that oil and that buildup is going to build up on your scalp, and it's kind of like your scalp has pores, or if there's another name for this, let me know. Anyways, your scalp needs to be able to breathe, just like your skin needs to be able to breathe. If it's covered up all day and your pores can't breathe and you're gonna feel suffocated, your scalp sometimes can feel the same way if it has a lot of buildup. So that's number one. Number two is if it has a smell. And not necessarily like a mildew smell, not that bad. It's more like an oily smell. So you know sometimes when someone has a smell like they've done is oil for the past 2, 3, 4 weeks, and they just got oil on top of oil on top of oil, and it starts to smell kind of bad. Another way you can tell is if your bonnet is also oily, or your bonnet is leaving like a residue on the pillow. You know, you have a lot of product buildup on your locks, and even when you go to sleep at night, even though you did your moisturization routine and everything, and it may be dry, but you still have product buildup either on your bonnet or on your pillow. It can happen if you haven't washed your hair in a while. So yeah, that's how you know it's time to wash. Another thing is if your locks no longer look clean. So this isn't a matter of like fuzzy or not fuzzy. It's a matter of looking clean. Like if you're in your starter lock phase, you might not understand what this looks like, but you know, when I had loose natural hair, I knew when my hair needed to be cleaned, because I used to do a lot of slick back style. So I used to put the gel in it, slick it back, and I used to do that process a couple times a week without washing my hair. So the first day one, is all clean. I could slick it back. And the first day when it's clean, it was slicked back so nice and smooth. The second, third day was still, you know, nice and smooth. But the fourth day, there was product buildup in my hair. So I would still slick it back, put the scarf over it and everything like that. No matter how hard I tried it, it would not slick back. It wasn't slicking no more. Okay, so just apply that to your locks. Not to say you're trying to do no slick back look with your locks anyways, because you probably shouldn't be doing that if you're in your starter lock period. But there's a point in which your products look like it's more so keeping your hair or giving your hair a stiffer look. If it's not moving the same way that it used to move, and it's looking a little limp, and it's not looking vibrant, you know it's time to wash your hair, friend. Wash it. Just wash it. And so here's another thing. When you get past your starter lock phase, the frequency at which you wash your locks is probably gonna change. Washing every month or washing every 2 months or whatever, I think that should only be in the starter lock phase, because again, I think the washing of the locks can help the locking process. Even if in the beginning it feels like the locks are unraveling, you can always put them back, and your hair is overall being trained to be locks. It's just that the hair isn't trained yet if it's unraveling, but eventually it will catch on. In the first month that I had my locks, or the first 3 to 4 months, I'd say, I washed my hair once a month. But after that, after I saw more growth, after I saw a little bit of budding, which is the beginning phases at the root that it's starting to lock, I ramped it up to every 2 weeks I washed my hair. Now I wash my hair either every week or every week and a half, but week and a half at max, especially in the winter time, because I'm also active. I go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm sweating. In the summertime, I sweat even more on top of that. So I need more, rinsing and washing of my locks. So that might be different for you. That might be the same for you. But after you see your locks mature a little bit, you will probably want to increase the frequency that you are washing your locks. So I hope this video helped. Let me know in the comments down below what month you are in your starter lock journey, or are you in your later phase of the journey? Let me know, and yeah, hope to see you in the next video. You can see my starter lock playlist in the card below and also in the description box of this video. All right, y'all. Peace.